Bro, I like people being like, oh, I can't believe he's president. I can't believe he's yapping all this stuff. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just, this is it. This is, America sucks. I'm going to keep it a $1.50. And as a nation that sucks, we're going to have a president that sucks. This is the most expected outcome. Democrats sold the country off and sold your rights away, signed your rights away. We're an embarrassing country. And I think that even Trump supporters are somewhat aware of the demise. 4 years of free content for you, you're so stupid. Okay? I don't care about free content. I have long maintained the position that no matter what, I would much rather not have a fantastic, robust media career as long as we got to have Medicare for all. It's not about content. We have mass ICE raids incoming starting tomorrow. Probably starting today, if we're being real. I would rather have a boring country where American citizens' needs are solved instead of a content-filled 4 years where horrifying, cruel things are happening with regular frequency. Today is the first day of the Burger Reich. The hogs are in full force. People who are shunned or afraid to say things out loud today are saying, I'm driving around our neighborhood looking for illegals and reporting Mexicans. Join me and I want to die. People like that live near me. Yeah. The Burger Reich is here and America's demise is near. Okay. And we're going to talk about it. You look so sad. Well, I mean, yeah, I think that Donald Trump is going to be a horrible president and it's beginning. Donald Trump is going to be a horrible president and it's starting right now. There's still more to come today. He will sign executive orders of the Capitol in a bit. The day's not over. Yeah. If today you are excited that Donald Trump is finally the president again after 4 years of the Brandon regime, where Republicans were sent off to work camps for the crime of being patriotic or saying that there are two genders or whatever. And that finally a new dawn, a new day's upon us, and all of a sudden egg prices are going to go down. All of a sudden the price of goods are gonna be manageable. All of a sudden you're going to start making more money at your job. Your boss is no longer going to screw you over. You're magically going to be able to pay rent. Well, you've been duped. It's not going to happen. Just letting y'all know, it's not going to happen. What will happen, on the other hand, is that all of the things that you enjoy, all of your consumer goods that you enjoy are going to continuously get worse and worse year over year. Your life standards or your work standards are not going to improve. And you're probably going to find yourself even more angry because there will be a bully pulpit that tunes you up every second of the day, trying to make you hyper-focus on your neighbors that are responsible for your demise. It's not the wealthy. It's not the powerful. They deserve corporate tax cuts. That's coming. They deserve more profits. They deserve higher profits. They deserve to pay less in taxes. And slowly but surely, I think the American war machine will continue tuning up as it has. In many ways, nothing will change. In some very meaningful ways, things only stand to get worse. An apt MLK quote for this photo. Yeah. By the millions, people in the other America find themselves perishing on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. That's a good one. Migrants in Ciudad Juarez who were waiting for their 1 p.m. CBP1 parole appointments learned 20 minutes ago that the app is shut down and those appointments are no longer valid. Coworker believes that the answer to financial freedom is crypto, but doesn't acknowledge his medical debt. No, coworker is awesome. The coworker believers, coworkers are on top. Let me tell you something, okay? Coworker politics is on the rise. Coworker interests are on the rise. We are now living in the coworker dystopia. And the coworker is not wrong, technically, when he says, oh, the future of money is crypto. We had not one, not two, but 3 different people in Trump's immediate orbit, including Trump himself, pull off crypto rug pulls sequentially in the last 48 hours. You understand? Do you understand? Donald Trump, Melania Trump, and then the Students for Trump guy, all 3 of them pulled crypto rug pulls to the tune of multiple hundreds of millions of dollars right before Donald Trump was inaugurated, right before he became the president. That is the future of America. The future of America is cons, quick schemes, cons for rubes and suckers. Everyone joining in on the fun, thinking that they will not be the bag holders, but will actually grab the bag and pass it down the line. Oh, Biden gave a speech and I missed it? Yeah, I don't really care. Dude, I'm not going to lie. I'm having a hard time caring, man. I really am. In terms of like caring about all the dangerous things that are about to happen, I'm going to offer a lot of coverage and hopefully do my very best to speak on the humanity of the victims of this upcoming administration. But in terms of all the palace intrigue, in terms of like, oh, Joe Biden, ooh, drama, John Fetterman, did he wear a short and hoodie? Like, what were Biden's last words? I don't care. I do think it's stupid and silly that he did that like last second perma pardon thing. I think that everything overall just sucks. I don't know. I can't help but feel like everything is bad and it will continue getting worse. The Trump supporter will hear me say that and go, oh, get wrecked, liberal. You're only saying that because Donald Trump is president and you feel bad because your party lost. But I've maintained this not so cheery attitude since before the election season ended. I have been on a relatively cynical, relatively pessimistic path since I would say the aftermath of the DNC. Vibes have been bad. And I don't think necessarily that the Trump administration is, in the grand scheme of things, the Trump administration is not going to make America's demise. How do I describe this? Like, I think we're fucked regardless of whether it was Kamala Harris or Donald Trump winning the presidency. Like, I think the American project is coming to a close, but I do think that Trump will make it faster, if that makes sense. That's the way I look at it. Like, I think that our demise is inevitable, and I also think that Trump supporters themselves kind of see it too. Maybe last time around, maybe in 2016, they had an environment of hope and change. Ironically enough, white man's Obama had taken over the government, and it was the first time around, so they were excited. This time, it's more about vengeance upon their enemies, enforcing cruel and unusual punishments upon those who they feel have betrayed them, liberals, trans people, Mexicans, and the like. But overall, I think everyone's kind of, like, even normies, I would say, kind of have this attitude where they feel like things are not looking too good. Things are not looking too great for America, even with Donald Trump as president. Or at least that's the attitude that I'm getting from people that I know that have voted for Donald Trump. It's the truth. You vote for division, you get it. What do you mean vote for division? Who votes for unity? What is the unity vote? There's a duopoly, my man. I don't know what kind of silliness this is. Like, you think you're making like an adult take or something, but I have no idea what the hell Melania's wearing, by the way. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm sure Americans really love that. Like, the real Americans today look at that and go, that's a real fit, Madam First Lady. Why does she look like Oppenheimer? I can't believe Jake and Logan Paul are at the inauguration. Well, why am I saying I can't believe that? That's the most that is the future. This is America's future. If you want to understand, like, Jake and Logan Paul taking photos with New York City Mayor Eric Adams. That is, oh wait, is that Witkoff? What the hell is Witkoff doing right there? Bro should be in Gaza right now. I've talked about this yesterday. There's a whole thesis that can be written about the fact that fashion houses are now open to dressing both Usha and Melania as opposed to not dressing anyone during the Trump first term. There's a normalization that's happening. Yeah, there's also a historical parallel here that we can point to as well in terms of, you know, the Nazi movement, the aesthetics of fascism, fashion and fascism intersecting, and how big fashion houses also had no issues with historical fascist movements and actually supported them too, whether it be Hugo Boss or even Chanel. I think that there is a historical parallel there to a certain degree, but you're absolutely right. It's something that I brought up as well. Oscar de la Renta was openly posting about dressing Usha Vance, right? JD Vance's wife. So I agree. All of these like elite corporations are this time around completely servile to the interests of fascists. Here it is, Oscar de la Renta talking about Ivanka Trump. Swipe to see the making of Ivanka Trump's custom pearl and crystal gown. Such elegance. This is something that I've thought about quite a bit, but it's look, all I'm saying is second time Trump version 2.0 is perceived as very normal, okay? Trump version 2.0 is no longer weird, odd, unique, an aberration. Trump version 1.0 was not necessarily unique in terms of like what he did, because he was the logical endpoint of the Republican Party. Right. And I maintain that position quite a bit. And liberals would get mad at me whenever I said like Trump in 2016 was doing things that the Republicans would do. The only difference was he was more incompetent, more openly about his corruption, and also utilizing the bully pulpit to accelerate racist rhetoric, right? Normalizing and accelerating racist rhetoric. And people will get kind of mad at me about it. They would say like, what do you mean? No, you don't understand. Trump is different. Trump is different. Trump is a different type of president. It's like, no, he accelerated down to January 6th, down to all of the election is stolen conspiracies. Donald Trump's attitude was not different than the rest of the Republican Party. His communication was different than the rest of the Republican Party. And I used to point to the likes of Paul Ryan, institutional Republicans that were considered normal Republicans that would get like puff pieces about how he likes to work out and stuff like that by GQ, doing the same exact, the elections are stolen by immigrants rhetoric, but using very different words, never fully openly stating that as a fact, right? Donald Trump, on the other hand, took away the dog whistles and basically went full tilt with it. And it was like he cast aside the civility and the aesthetics of civility. And I think that was shocking for a lot of liberals. They're like, what are you talking about? This is not how we do. This is not how we operate. This is not who we are. But while I was clowning on the aesthetics focused, optics focused, civility focused, resistance liberalism the first time around, I do still think that level of pressure, at least to a certain degree, created a permission structure and a counterbalance against all of the awful things that the Trump administration was doing. And liberal media also was hyper focusing on all of the awful things that the Trump administration was doing. It's not happening this time around. That's what's truly interesting. It's not happening this time around. So I don't know what that is going to look like. I don't know what that's going to look like now. Liberalism is dead. It was already on its, it was already gasping for air, but it's officially, I think, dead. And what comes next, unfortunately for everyone, is obviously fascism. They have capital accumulation. They have concentration of power, backing from the capital accumulators and those who have concentrated power. They have better organizational structure. They have better entry points into institutional control. And very clearly, that is the new game in town. So we'll see what happens next. But as you look at all of these like wealthy aristocrats and politicians smiling and dining together, when you look at our elites enjoying the show, just remember that this is in some ways going to be the expected outcome. This was always going to happen, but Donald Trump, I suspect, will, accelerate America's demise even more.
And our top priority will be to create a nation that is proud, prosperous, and free. America will soon be greater, stronger, and far more exceptional than ever before. I return to the presidency confident and optimistic that we are at the start of a thrilling new era of national success. A tide of change is sweeping the country, sunlight is pouring over the entire world, and America has the chance to seize this opportunity like never before.
Like, I don't think anybody believes this. I'm being serious. I think we're doing shock doctrine to ourselves in this upcoming stage. I think what we did to the USSR in the dissolution of the USSR, we are doing to ourselves, because once the Cold War ended and capitalism won, neoliberalism was the domineering ideology in the Western capitalist world, and America dominated the planet. And in that process, of course, we still enforced cruelty upon the global South, and we accelerated imperialism as well. But what I suspect, and what we have been doing for the last couple of decades, I think, and what I think will accelerate even further now, late stage capitalism, as some would call it, is basically turning the crosshairs of exploitation back to the domestic affairs, back virtually colonizing the interior rather than simply keeping it to the exterior and offering some of those benefits back to the labor aristocrats, offering some of the bounties of empire back to the domestic population, I think we will start picking at the scraps of what remains of the American government. It's not even blowback necessarily. It's not even blowback. It's just that capital is a parasitic force inherently, okay? It always has to dominate because it always seeks out more profit. And you cannot generate more profit when technology keeps advancing and it makes things easily accessible. There is no infinite growth. So when there is no infinite growth, at the end of the day, when you're done destroying the global south, you inevitably have to turn those crosshairs back to your domestic labor population. And I think that's what we're doing. The age of leisure, my ass. No, the age of leisure was like the 80s and 90s, right? The dot-com bubble, like all of the bounties of like assuming that we can just like permanently grow and permanently prosper. And then what happened? 2008 housing market crash. Obviously, 9/11, war on terror. And in that process, instead of slamming the brakes on the permanent growth attitude that we had, the permanent profit-seeking attitude we had, what do? Even in our recovery, what did Obama do, for example? He kept up the pre-existing hierarchy, and that recovery process was still K-shaped in the exact same way that we saw after COVID. Those at the top ended up gaining from this collapse, even though they were responsible for this collapse through multiple decades worth of neoliberal deregulation. On the one hand, it was still very much both Democrats and Republicans of the past that caused the 2008 housing market to happen. And they did that because they were doing the bidding of the wealthy, the super wealthy, and the corporations. But even in that recovery, there was still opportunity for more profits. So it is not an accident that in that time frame, America saw great wealth transfers that continued to trickle upwards rather than evenly distribute down to the working class. That would have been a much healthier recovery for America. But even in that process, we decided, nope, we're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. And I suspect that is where we're at right now. I think as things worsen, as societal collapse becomes inevitable, the same profit seekers, corporations, and the super wealthy will continue trying to generate as much wealth as they possibly can. And they will do so by genuinely worsening the material conditions of the American labor force as well. So I think Yanis Varoufakis is correct when he says we are in the age of techno-feudalism.
I also want to express my tremendous gratitude to the hundreds of thousands of proud American patriots who came from all across the country to join us in this celebration. It's a celebration of a big win. And you're witnessing the dawn of the golden age of America. That's what it's going to be. We're bringing it back. We're going to bring it back fast. Let us also thank the incredible service members, National Guardsmen, Police, Secret Service, and law enforcement personnel who are keeping us all safe, even though they are great people. New York's finest. I grew up with New York's finest.
Damn, bro, he is tired. Vibe shift. I feel like does Trump no longer have the same motion and juice that he once did? He's eepy, bro. He's eepy. He's an eepy guy. I mean, he is 80.
Donald Trump saying he will head over to that table with a number of executive actions already laid out on the table in the presidential seal. Mary, Bruce, do we have an understanding of exactly what it is he's signing right here?
We don't have a full list right now, but we do know that this is going to be a tremendous effort for him to show straight out the gate just how aggressive he is being, as he has been touting all day. We know that he is signing a wide range of executive orders, ranging from rescinding any DEI or gender-related directives from the Biden administration to designating cartels as foreign terrorist organizations and stealing rules.
Signing is the rescission of 78 Biden-era executive actions, executive orders, presidential memoranda, and others.
Wait, you can do that with one signature? That's crazy. Bold, radical.
The next item, sir, is a freeze on all federal hiring, excepting the military and a number of other excluded categories, again, until full control of the government is achieved and we understand the objectives of government going forward.
Could you imagine Biden doing this? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Sir, the next item, as you announced in your speech, is a requirement that federal workers return to full-time in-person work immediately.
Why are they clapping for that? Like, what does that do? No, honestly, like, not even like good or bad. I'm not making a value judgment here, but why would that be something worthy of clapping? Like, what does that do for any of the people in the room? Yeah, finally, my bitch ass dad has to go back to work and work from the office. Like, what, is that it?
The cost of living crisis that has cost Americans so dearly.
Also, what? This executive order is so stupid. He's gonna address it. He's gonna address the living crisis, cost of living crisis. Oh, hell yeah.
Thank you, sir. The next item here is the withdrawal from the Paris Climate Treaty.
Another thing where it's like, why are you clapping for that? Good or bad? And this one is objectively like ridiculous, but clapping for that is so stupid.
And lastly, sir, before we go back to the Oval Office to sign a large number of other items, is a directive to the federal government ending the weaponization of government against the political adversaries of the previous administration, as we've seen. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
He's doing it. The mad lad, he's doing it. Oh my God. We've actually we are so devolved, dude. We have devolved as a society completely. This is peasant status. This is straightforward peasant shit. God damn, dude. This is crazy.
We're getting rid of all of the cancer. I call it cancer. The cancer caused by the Biden administration.
Sir.
How confident are you, Mr. President, that you can keep the ceasefire in Gaza and conclude the 3 phases of this deal?
I'm not confident. That's not our war, it's their war, but I'm not confident. But I think they're very weakened on the other side.
Do you support the 2-state solution?
Gaza, boy, I looked at a picture of Gaza. Gaza is like a massive demolition site. That place it's really, it's got to be rebuilt in a different way.
Do you plan to help rebuilding Gaza?
I might. You know, Gaza is interesting. It's a phenomenal location. On the sea, best weather, you know, everything's good. It's like some beautiful things could be done with it, but it's very interesting.
I'm
But
sorry, what?
some fantastic things could be done with Gaza.
How do you see the future in governance for Gaza?
Well, it depends. I can't imagine you could have, well, you certainly can't have the people that were there. Most of them are dead, by the way, right? Most of them are dead. But they didn't exactly run it well. Run viciously and badly. So you can't have that.
Mr. President, on TikTok, sir, President Trump, you've seen the other living presidents a couple times in the last few months. If you ever had to call on one of them for advice about anything that's going on here, which one would you call?
It's an interesting. Well, I thought Bill Clinton was a very good politician.
truly
I don't think
heinous
he was
stuff.
used properly. I think they disrespected
We are so
him.
America's so
When
fucked.
Hillary
The
was
rest of the
running,
planet is fucked.
He came back
The
and he
entire
said,
globe is
you
fucked.
better get up to
It hasn't even been
Michigan
12
and
hours
Wisconsin.
yet.
You remember
It's
that.
barely been 12 hours in office,
Every house
and he's
has a
already
Trump
said
sign on it.
mass immigration raids,
they-
Gaza
the
beachfront
Republicans
property,
had 1 million
tariffs to Mexico and Canada instantly
decades.
February 1st. Like, how is the stock market not reacting to this in the
hell
normal
is he
ways
now?
that you would? Oh, it's because MLK Day,
Bill
stock
Clinton
market's
was-
closed
he had a
today.
great
I forgot. I forgot that it's.
political.
I
we
think
have
we're
to do to
entering
get-
very weird territory. In the absence of organized resistance against this sort of action from the obviously reactionary government, I feel like the resistance to this sort of the resistance to Donald Trump is going to take the form of decentralized resistance, which is always uncontrollable. In the least violent ways of decentralized resistance movements, when there are no legal structures in play, like workplace sexual assault and violence, was the Me Too movement. The most violent version of decentralized resistance against unlimited amounts of profit seeking that puts people's lives at stake is Luigi Mangione. Take your pick. It's going to probably see itself in the form of both of these different movements. On the one hand, there will be, I suspect that there will be some semblance of organized efforts to try and actively apply social pressure in the face of unchanging and unyielding cruelty by our legislative body, by our judicial body. And also, on the other hand, I suspect that there will be direct instances of violence from adventurists as well. Details of the January 6th pardons, commuting the sentence of the head of the Oath Keepers, and one of the first people to breach the Capitol who was charged with assaulting a police officer, Dominic Pizzola. He also got Enrique Tarrio out of prison. Enrique Tarrio had a 22-year sentence. Like, I personally think that there is validity for reducing the sentences of some of the people that got popped on January 6th. But having said that, you know, there are active people who did harm, not just to fucking property, but to like police officers and numerous other people who like actively did try to do, albeit unsuccessful, a sedition, an insurrection, and it makes sense why you would. It makes sense why you would keep some of these guys in prison.
The cheating, all the stuff that's going on, brother. I feel like the veil's been lifted, and that dark cloud. If I wasn't so tired, brother, I'd just rip all my clothes. Oh, you're not tired. You know what? Donald Trump lifted the veil off America. Hold on, Jess. All right, here we go. Our border. Lower gas prices.
Yes.
We got real American beer in the house. We got real American beer. And we've got Trumpomania, brother. We've got Trumpomania running this country, brother. One nation under God.
I can't believe this is American politics, man. I'm so sorry you have to live there. Brother or sister or MB, understand that what's going on here, what's happening here is coming to your backyard too, is coming to your neighborhood too. That's the craziest part about it, is that like what we do here will inevitably make its way to you, okay? And it already has been. It already has been making its way to you. Elon Musk is sig-heiling on the national stage, but he's doing something I think more insidious on the global stage, right? He's sig-heiling on the national stage, and what is he doing in the UK? Trying to elevate reform, even though he had a brief back and forth with Nigel Farage over Tommy Robinson. He's trying to elevate the AfD in Germany. Like they are setting up a network of fascist governments all across Western liberal capitalist countries. I mean, they're doing it with Pierre Poilievre in Canada. They're making a new axis basically.